Hello there, this is Patty, the Tinker's wife, here in Portland, Oregon, and I want to welcome you to my home and my kitchen. Um, did I say this is Tinker's Paradise? That's what I call this place, is Tinker's Paradise. My husband is the tinkerer, and he's the guy that fixes things. I'm the gal that grows things and makes things. Yep. I'm the creative mind, the creative genius, and he's the fix-it genius. Well, actually, he makes things too, so that's a lie. Anyway, today I wanted to share with you my books. I love books. I actually grew up reading the encyclopedia set that we had in our living room. Um, I tend to not have novels in my house. I just don't read novels. Um, I love reading reference books. And reference books are very useful, and that's one of the reasons I like them so much. Plus, you learn so many crazy, amazing things in reference books. But let's start out with one that is really pertinent right now, and that is this book right here, Seed to Seed by Suzanne Ashworth. I first learned about this book through Seed Savers Exchange. It now is carried by several seed companies. It is a great book on how to properly gather and save seeds and store them. So she's an expert on this subject. I love the plate on the front with all the different kinds of seeds. Seeds are actually amazingly beautiful structures and so full of life, and it's just wonderful to save them and to be able to share them with people. And I recommend getting this book and keeping it in your library. It's a great reference. Another book related to seeds but on herbs. This is Thomas DiBaggio's book on growing herbs, and this is from Seed and Cutting and Root. Yes. So root propagation, vegetative cuttings, and seeds. He talks about varieties. He talks about what herbs do better from seed and which ones do better from cuttings. And he has information on when to do those cuttings, what kind of wood to take, because there's three kinds of wood. There's the hardwood, which is calloused over and the stem is stiff. There's semi-softwood or semi-hardwood, which you can still bend, but it's not tender. And then there's the softwood, which is the brand new growth. And he talks about that and shares with you in real simple terms how to propagate herbs. I recommend this if anybody wants to grow herbs, even I would say other plants too, because some of the cutting information you can use with other plants, but especially herbs. A lot of this is all connected because they're all plants. But a lot of information here that will bring you success. This is not the first edition. He does have a newer edition out. I also believe that he passed away last year, I think it was. So he was a treasure and is missed in the herb world. Very, very good book. And it's small. Not too overwhelming. Okay, I'm going to talk a minute about botany. Now, I know that everybody's going to, oh my gosh, Latin names. Oh my gosh, all those plant structure names. I know it can be overwhelming. I used to be a beginner myself. So I found out the first year I worked in a retail nursery just how important using Latin names was versus the common names. And I would say bellflower is a good example. In the bellflower group, there are a lot of different species, and they can go from a virtual ground cover to something several feet tall. So it's good to know those things, good to get the species and the genus of the plant, because there's more than one plant that has a bell-shaped flower. This is a botanist's vocabulary, and I know it sounds scary, but it's not. Why did it stop? Oh. answering that. I got a phone call coming in. That's nice. It said it stopped recording, but it hasn't. It's still going anyway. This book is really approachable, and I'll show you what I mean. This talks about leaves. These are opposite leaves, alternate leaves. They would alternate instead of being directly across from one another. There's the term right there, opposite. So it's very easy, excellent line drawings. So you have a picture in front of you and you have the definition, the vocabulary word. This would be great to go through with kids. It'd make a great homeschool thing. Or if you just want to homeschool yourself, I would say for me it'd be homeschooling myself. I wanted it as a reference because as much as I know, I sometimes have to go back because there's so much I can't hold it all in my brain, at least, and find it. It's probably in there somewhere, but I can't find it. So anyway, A Botanist's Vocabulary, 1,300 terms, explained and illustrated by Susan K. Pell and Bobby Engel. And it is a Timber Press book. And Timber Press is an excellent, excellent book company for gardening and horticulture books. Another Timber Press book that is Botany for Gardeners, an approachable, a little more nerdy book. Has some great color plates. These are cells. Yeah, I know, right? That was under the microscope, but they're really pretty. I mean, there's some really great things. This is not the first edition, or this is probably, I think, the first edition. There's newer ones out now. Again, line drawings, lots of information. It will tell you the difference between a rhizome, a bulb, a corm, and a tuber, which is a matter of confusion for a lot of people. They grow differently. They are planted differently oftentimes. So it's good to know the difference. And these kind of books are valuable for those kinds of things. All right. Then if you like trees and shrubs and you have a long winter in your season, or even if you don't, but you have a time when there's no leaves on things, this is a wonderful book. It deals with the specific plant structures that you can see in the winter time. And so I'm looking for a good plate here to show you because I've got so many of them. I want to find a cool one. All right, guys. Oh, here it is. This is the one I was looking for. This has the buds and the branches, and it'll show the little spots, the lenticels on the bark. It'll show, kind of the structure of the bark, which is cool. But yeah, Winter Botany, an identification guide to native trees and shrubs by William Trelease. Really another good book. This is a Dover book. Dover is another good company. I know there's a lot of people that are doing like self-publishing and probably some other publishers that have come up in the ranks. But these are ones that are classically trusted. I'll just say that. Okay, so on to something more fun than botany. Let's go to herbs. This here is a really good beginner's introductory book to herbs. And especially if you want to have a lot of different kinds of herbs, I recommend getting this, or at least getting it in the library and reading it, going through it. Lots of information here. There's parsley and anise or anise, however you want to pronounce it. I'm not even going to go there with the pronunciation thing. My thing on pronunciation is say it like that's how you think it really is supposed to sound. And if somebody gives you a bad time about it, just thank them. But don't, thank them for, telling you the proper pronunciation, but don't take it personally. Some people are just snobs. I've run into a few, but it's good to know the Latin names. This is tansy, and this is fenugreek. How many of you knew that fenugreek grew like that, or tansy like that? It talks about herbal oils, flower arranging with herbs. How beautiful is this? Look at that! Woohoo! Andrea over at VW Farms. Look at this. I should say Andrea and Emily at VW Family Farms. Look at these, cool. Making wreaths. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here. Herbs for beauty, there's recipes, there's also, this is an A to Z cultivation guide. So there's a lot of information in this little book. The author, who is the contributing editor in this particular publication, is Leslie Bremnes, and her regular large book is like, I want to say, probably almost twice as, half again as wide, and twice as tall, and half again as it's big. It's a big book, but Reader's Digest took the best and put it in this book, and I think it's really a really good little reference book to have, because it talks about different kinds of thymes and rosemaries. Guys, there's so many kinds of rosemaries, and we're only getting started. This is only getting started. There's a lot more since this came out. Yeah, there's how to cook with them. It's just a really good basic all-around book. And if you like specific varieties like lavender, this is a good book on lavender. Virginia McNaughton, she's an expert, actually from the UK, I think it is, maybe Australia. Anyway, or New Zealand. They grow a lot of that down there too. So anyhow, it has some really good information in it on how to prune, on the different varieties. And again, this book was written a few years ago, and there's a lot more varieties out there now than there used to be. Not all lavenders are made alike. Some of them are better used for essential oils for like massage, or some are better for perfume. Some are better used as a culinary herb, the sweeter ones. Some of them have too much camphor. They all are really good bee plants. All of the herbs are good for beneficial pollinators. Yeah, some of them are good for butterflies too, so herbs are really wonderful to have. So it's good to know. But I want to show you this one plate that she has in here. I'll find it. It doesn't take too long. It's not too far back here. About pruning lavenders. Where is it? But it shows you the degree of pruning that you have to do with the lavenders. Oh, I think I passed it. Anyhow, here we go. This is it. That right there. See that? That's in flower. That's pruned. I think that's probably a fall pruning, and then this is the following spring. How about that? But you can see how nice and tight that plant is instead of being all leggy. And pruning is very important in keeping your lavenders in shape. So I just wanted to show you that. She also talks about weather and soils in here. It's a really, really good book. Lots of pictures of the actual flower stems. Oh, one tip on lavenders: if you want a lavender that dries with a dark blue, purple flower calyxes, then you need to make sure you pay attention to the calyx and not the flower color. The flower color could be pink and it'll come out gray. It can be lavender and that calyx will be gray. So you want the ones that have the dark blue, purple calyxes. That's the outside of the flower. That is what will be the dark color. All right, that was a free one. Anyway, last book is this one. This is Medicinal Plants of the Pacific West. A really good book for when you're out hiking, or actually right now I would recommend that you take your camera with it, take your pictures. This thing weighs a little bit. Or get a pocket guide, and then you can go back and read up on it here. Or maybe do a little pre-reading before you go out. But again, really great line drawings. And it has regional, you know, where it's native, where it's seen in, what regions, its habitat. Let's see, that's bunchberry, black cohosh. Those of you who are into herbs know about black cohosh. Well, it grows out here. So yeah, it's just a good general identifier. Yerba de Lobo. Now this is one I'm not familiar with, but a daisy type flower. I'm hinting back to that. Not every daisy's made alike. It's good to know the plant. So this one is used for an external liniment, a tincture, and that kind of thing. Yeah, so pretty good deal. And there's a glossary in the back, you know, about the antispasmodic, antiviral, all the different things you need to know. But if you just want to have some fun learning some of the plants, by the way, there are pictures in the front. If you like pictures, there's pictures in the front. And the plates have there's a plate reference up here, so it tells you what plant is what. Anyhow, so that is my part, a small part of my library. And I wanted to share that with you. Those are books that I think that would be worthwhile taking a look at, possibly getting for your own library. Some of them are really great to use with children. I do have a couple other books that I'll be sharing later that are really good if you have kids. And I have books on garden design. There's a couple that I will refer you to as good books that you can actually use as you redesign your landscape, especially if you're urban. It's kind of nice, but for anybody. I took a class in landscape design, so I'm versed in that, and I do love design. I found it was a little bit like giving birth, so I never went into it as a business. It's been hard enough for me to do my own landscape, let alone somebody else's, but I did enjoy it. I did, and I do enjoy a good design. Anyway, I will be sharing those things later. But I think for now, that's probably enough for today. I'm losing my voice. This is like the third time I've done this video. But thank you so much, those of you who were new and just checking out the channel. I want to thank you for that. Thank you, those of you who've been subscribers and new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe. You know, if you decide later you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. That's not a big deal. I'm not really here to get subscribers, but I would like people to check it out for a while and see if there's something in here that they can use, because I'm going to be talking about plants a lot. I'm going to be talking about food and even doing some art once in a while and some different things. Also, I'm going to be doing some devotionals. This is something I'm praying about. It's in my description. I mentioned that I am a Christian. I've been a Christian for several years, and my faith is key in everything that I do. And the garden, I see God's fingerprints all over it. So it's one of the reasons I enjoy it so much, and it brings so many blessings to me. So with that said, I am going to bid you a fond adieu. This is Patty, the Tinkerer's Wife. God bless you, and I'm signing off.